Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is I, Imperial Dane, with another Propagandacast for you, a 1 versus 1 on Angoville. Yes, indeed, it's been a bit of a while since we've had a match on Angoville, so always nice to return to it. And of course, for those that don't really know Angoville, it's a sort of farmland map. Nice winding road right through it. Eastern part of the map covered in farm buildings. Western is much more open territory, and with a single victory point, whereas the more enclosed, more building heavy eastern side has the two other victory points, which certainly makes it a bit easier to defend them, but at the same time can, for example, for the Wehrmacht provide some difficulty since they can't get a full line of fire, and the Americans can use this to their advantage to get close to the German positions. Whereas here it's much easier for the Wehrmacht to establish a defensive position, since there's not much that can really block their line of sight. So, let's have a look at the opponents. In the northern corner we have M4l4z3r, possibly M4l4z3r, if we were to go by some sort of erudite lead speak. But we don't do that here. This is a proper war and a proper channel, so he'll just be called Mr. M4. Of the 3rd Armoured Division, ready to take on the Reich. And who will we have facing him? Who of the Wehrmacht will be taking him on? Apparently it is Mr. Cheezburglar, or possibly his German counterpart, der Käse-Einbrecher, ready to break in and snatch all the allied cheeses and bring them back to the fatherland, so the poor German citizens have some cheese for their bread. A most noble German hero of the 2nd Panzer Division, possibly. So let's see who will win. Will the 3rd Armored Division break through here right near Carentan, or will the 2nd Panzer Division with its Käse-Einbrecher Cheezburglar commander manage to overcome the 3rd Armored Division and attack the Allied supply depot with so many cheeses in it? We see a Wehrmacht quarters going up for Mr. Käse-Einbrecher, that is his code name apparently, and with Mr. M4 we see 8 barracks going up, so nothing unusual there. And I do know that the 2nd Panzer Division really didn't face off against the 3rd Armored Division. The 2nd Panzer was more occupied with the British, but no need to be that deeply historical, and I suppose it's just a bit of a nice change from all the SS and SS. So, engineers sneaking about, grease guns in hand. The American attempt at making an MP40, you can also see it rather close in, the form of it very similar, except for a few smaller details. Pioneers moving out to the west and north, a nice broad approach. We see the same in the American. Some players do like to go heavily onto one side, but I rather prefer the broad approach, also establish that you have a sort of idea of the enemy's movements, instead of just trying to establish dominance on the one side and then the enemy hits hard from the other. We see Volksgrenadiers out to counter the riflemen from the American, but of course there's no way of knowing this for the Wehrmacht. Of course it could have been an MG42 or a recon bike, ready to dash out of there with its small sidecar. And we have riflemen going for this fuel point, but Volksgrenadiers opening fire in the cover of this small shade of this small tree. Riflemen charging in, taking a bit of damage, but managing to force back the Volksgrenadiers. And we have a bike crashing in, light machine gun firing away, 1 rifleman down and a Volksgrenadier down. Bike really pushing around those riflemen somehow, not entirely sure why, but although we have another Volksgrenadier going down though, so not much luck for the bike so far. In fact, looks like these Volksgrenadiers will have to pull back, while the motorcycle really tries its best to push around these riflemen, but it just doesn't really seem to have much luck at it. Although it looks like another rifleman went down, but this bike is really taking a lot of damage. 1 rifleman apparently getting lost from his team rather severely. Another rifleman going down. Bike though looking in a rather bad shape, and now further riflemen are moving in from the north. Will the bike make it out there? No, the bike blows apart, sending debris in a small spread ahead of it. And we see one rifleman team pulling back while the Volksgrenadiers and Pioneers are running away in the face of the superior riflemen who for the moment have the advantage. What with the bike destroyed and nothing else to aid. But what is this? An MG42 team M4l4z3r ready to open fire with its tripod mount as soon as it sets up. And we see mines being laid down by these engineers, but right in the side of the MG42. This might end up very badly for these engineers. Suppressed and taking quite a bit of damage, and the mines are not being laid down instead. And we see riflemen aware of this, trying to flank on the MG42, moving through this small gap in the fence. Will the MG42 spot this? Perhaps not, but it is pulling back for a slightly safer position. Pioneers and Volksgrenadiers moving in, spotting the riflemen and the MG42 setting up. And will it catch the rifleman in its sights? No, the riflemen are beyond the arc of fire, and in fact right behind of it, forcing the MG42 to retreat. One rifleman going down, rifleman continuing to hunt down the MG42, continuing right through the gap in the Wehrmacht defenses. Right here, there's a very big gap, a bit unfortunate though, but riflemen are in there, but they have gone too far. They are now in the wolf's lair, down to 3 men. Oh dear, they really need to get out of there. Oh no. 3 men so far. Very deeply wounded. 2 men down. Will the 3rd man know? An entire rifleman team cut down for absolutely no gain. Why he went right through there, I have absolutely no idea. Now we see in the meanwhile the riflemen have secured the eastern part and the smaller area. Now Volksgrenadiers are moving in rather close. Riflemen do manage to get into this building first, it seems, knocking down one Volksgrenadier and telling him to get away from this building. It's American property for now. In the house, but we have a Wehrmacht sniper on the spot, firing away, sniping American soldiers. 2 down so far to his most accurate shot, and we see further Volksgrenadiers and Pioneers trying to move in and stabilize the situation. An MG42 on the way as well. Riflemen and flamethrowers moving in to further reinforce the situation. MG42 setting up, but not in time. Flamethrowers and riflemen are up close. Will the MG42 be cleared out? Yes, indeed it looks like. Oh, perhaps not. No, there we go. MG42 team down. Sniper and Pioneer pulling back. Heavy losses for the Wehrmacht. Looks like only a few Volksgrenadiers survive, but we see skirmish phase has been reached and Krieg barracks going up. Riflemen pulling back. Another team staying behind to seize territory, and what is he doing? Setting this MG42 up right there. Perhaps not the greatest idea considering he is aware that there is a sniper right next to the place, so setting it right up there is rather asking for your MG42 gunners to be sniped, I feel. Volksgrenadiers moving in, not a lot of infantry out for the Käse Einbrecher. And we have an MG42 gunner going down to the elite sniper, and another down, forcing this team to retreat already, not really having done much. Can't help but feel that is a bit of a waste. What is Pioneers moving to the west? Krieg barracks still going up, and we see a lot of manpower being floated for Mr. M4 going for a supply yard, but no extra rifleman teams it seems so far. No bikes or even a medic station. Either of those things would certainly be quite advantageous and really do a bit more than just float that much manpower, which currently can't really be used for anything else. So Mr. M4, will you do something with all that manpower, or will you just use it to look impressive? Engineers moving in with a flamethrower to defend this fuel point. High yield, burning away at the Pioneers. One catching on fire, desperately hoping to somehow extinguish the fire, but not managing. Riflemen moving in with BARs, blasting away. Volksgrenadiers caught right in the middle of it as another team moves in, although a depleted team. Sniper looked like he was almost caught there and shot down, but he does manage to get away. Riflemen continuing to move through, killing one Volksgrenadier and then getting back through this small entrance in the wall. Seizing this victory point once more, and a rather extended front for Mr. M4 and an MG42, but not really a lot of infantry, and really again floating a lot of manpower, not doing his best to invest it in further riflemen, an medic station or something. Can't help but feel this is a bit of a waste, in particular since he doesn't really have much at the moment. And the Cheezburglar setting up a Kampfkraft center. And not entirely sure if he's doing anything with that Krieg barracks though. A quick look will reveal though he's not floating as much, and he's in fact going straight for veterancy 1. He's certainly also suffered a bit heavily and certainly been forced to reinforce, but he is doing something. He is putting down a bunker, probably going to be a medic bunker. So certainly already a difference here, a lot in terms of actually using his resources a lot more efficiently, whereas again Mr. M4 is floating, but now does seem to be using it, getting a rifleman team, getting an M8 armored car, but I really think again he could be doing more with it. He's still got a lot of around that could for example be used for a medic station and really decrease the rate of attrition really, and keep as many riflemen on the field as possible for the longest time possible. Finally getting a third rifleman team again. Not entirely sure what else is going on. Riflemen taking on these pioneers, but the pioneers are in the building. Another rifleman going down to sniper fire, only one left. Will the pioneers or the sniper get him, or will this last rifleman get out of there to safety? And it looks like he barely manages. Quite extraordinary. And we see an observation post going down right here on the fuel point. Perhaps not what he really needs at the moment. Again, I think perhaps best would be to really increase his infantry's pressure and of course set up some sort of defensive perimeter, perhaps a medic station to increase of course the amount of losses he can withstand, perhaps some mines. Again, he has a lot of munitions but he's not really using it, although he is upgrading this M8 armored car, so he's doing something alright, but I really think he could be doing a lot more to prepare, considering he knows he's going to be defending, he knows he has most of the map, and all Mr. Cheezburglar needs then is to just place one really proper attack, and then he can really gain a foothold. So I really don't think that Mr. M4 is preparing properly, and there we do finally see some mines, but not enough, and certainly not for example here or here at some good points as well. Certainly suggest that for the future he might want to work on floating resources a bit less, in particular munitions and manpower, unless he's really saving up for something, and currently I can't really see